Hey, welcome. Hey, Coach Jay here. And this is for those that are going through the dissertation process. I had a couple of friends on Facebook and friends on YouTube reach out to me and say, hey, can you talk to me a little bit more? They're always asking how I'm coming along. I'm coming. I'm at the last stage. I'm floating down the road, just a little more tweaking, and yes, it'll be finalized. So thank you for listening in, and hopefully I'll say something in this quick segment that will help you out. And today's segment is just being encouraged. It's difficult, especially in the first 3 chapters of the dissertation program, to stay focused. It's long, it's drawn out, and most of us, if you like, again, I'm speaking from Grand Canyon University, I can't speak of any other, they wait till you finish all your coursework before you get into your dissertation 1 and 2. And they may be changing it. It's been a while. I don't know what they're doing at this date, at time of this recording, how their layout is, but mostly you're finishing your coursework before you get into your dissertation 1, when I say dissertation 1, when you begin to really write and turn in your chapter 2 or 3, and then 1 into your chair or your committee. When you begin to really hone in on what your study is about. Yes, of course, from the very beginning, you're grabbing data, you're looking at a lot of resources, and you're getting your mind, your thoughts together. And some of you are already writing on your different chapters, but it's not until those stages when you get to dissertation 1, 2, or 3 that you now begin to turn in your writing for them to review and to let you know where they're standing. They begin to evaluate it based off your syllabus. And that could be a daunting process, because most of us, if you got to this level of dissertation, your writing has been up to level, up to par, according to your different professors, because they had plenty of drills where every time you wrote an article or something or respond in the coursework, there was a certain amount of pages that you write. Yeah, I was thinking like, man, why every time I get a course and I have to turn an assignment in, it's got to be from 2,500 to 3,000 words, writing. Why? Because they're trying to get you conditioned to writing and feel comfortable, because believe it or not, when you get to 1, 2, and 3, there are many pages you're going to be writing, and you want to be comfortable with it. So it shouldn't be such a strain when you're sitting down in front of it and writing these things up. Yes, you will get disheartened. You will sit back and question yourself. Sometimes you'll look at your writing and you'll just think that, man, I wrote this and I think I wrote to my best. And then they'll sit up and have you to revamp the whole page. Listen, let me tell you something. Don't throw anything away. Even if they come back and say, change this, add this, you save it. Keep saving block after block after block, because what you don't use in chapter 3, you may use in chapter 2. What you may not use in chapter 2, 3, or 1. And you'll find out later on how your chair and committee wants you to write. And what I mean is you're writing up to their level. It doesn't change your style of writing. One thing I had struggled with was the term scholarly writing. I was like, well, I am writing scholarly. I use my cites, I'm using my references, but there are certain things, as whatever your discipline is, they need to see that type of terminologies and jargon added in your dissertation. Like we'll say, author so-and-so said this, but the author changes to researcher. The study has provided what we would said in the past from the literature is shown this. These things begin to become a normal flow for you. And if it's not, work on it. There's so many things on Google, YouTube, and other formats where you can go and start learning that scholarly writing. That is going to be imperative for you to learn that as soon as possible. You should be trying to work on it as you're going through the coursework. But if you're in the dissertation part where you're starting to turn in, you need to look over your paragraphs, take you out of it. Stop saying I. If you're doing that, remember, we got to be in past tense. It's not till after you finish that you go back and bring it in present tense. So you're writing from past record, past history, what individuals have said based off your literature, not based off in you. Don't get citation heavy. What I mean by intake citations. Don't sit up there and every other word have a citation from some article. Let it flow. And remember, there's certain parameters that the APA will show you about how we are to structure our sentence. How do we write? How do you put a citation? Can you put a paragraph in one citation? It tells you all that. Get familiarized with it, because that's another thing that you're going to go back in. They're going to sit there and say, it's not according to the APA 7, or I think it's 7 that we're at. It's many things like that that will cause you frustration. But just understand, this is working out for your good. Get with your committee, get with your chair, and say, okay, if you turn something in and they send all of this that needs to be added to it, then stop what you're doing, have a conversation, have a one-on-one with them and say, okay, I see all these things that you're asking me. I need a little coaching. All right, so this is what I'm going to turn in based off of this one little section. And then I'm expecting the outcome to be for that. Push your chair. Remember, one thing you're going to find out, they're going to ask you, how do you want to be managed before you get into your dissertation? Whenever you meet your chair, one of the questions they're going to ask you is, how do you want me to help you to get through this process? What are your expectations? And they're going to give you theirs. Like they're going to tell you, by such time, you got to turn in this. By this time, they expect this. When they give you your work back, if you're one of those people that take a slow approach to this, you're going to spend countless hours and many, many dollars to get through this process. You have to understand, even though we're in this race, it's not a sprint all the time, and it's a marathon. But you're going to have to sprint in some cases. In some cases, you're going to have to slow down and go through the long journey, especially when you get to the research stage where you're waiting for the other people to produce or take your survey or set up your interviews, whatever it may be. It's going to take time. That's when you can catch your breath. But right now, between 1, 2, and 3 of the chapters, you want to be pressing. You want to be pushing through. If they give you something on Monday, you want to get on it Monday night, review it, see what you can fix, and try to have it back to them by Friday. Now, mind you, I'm not talking about rush working. I'm talking about giving that quality time to whatever they're asking to push it over so you can move on to another segment. I want you to understand, as long as your committee is seeing that you're engaged and you're working on that, they're going to work with you. But if you sit there and you let time get ahead of you and then you're trying to play catch up, you're going to find yourself in a difficult place. I want y'all to understand, GCU, unless it changes, they have a certain amount of weeks that they give you to produce. Meaning if you got an 8-week course or 16-week course, somewhere around the 12th, the 10th or the 12th, they expect you to turn in a finished chapter, whatever. If it's chapter 2 or chapter 3, they expect you to have it, or to be to a place that in the next dissertation 2, that you will finalize that you will finalize whatever chapter you're working on. Excuse me. They're expecting you to move forward and be ready to move on to the next chapter. So in their mind and in your mind, by the time you get to dissertation 3, you would have approved chapter 1, 2, and 3 and sent over to AQR for review, now to IRB. So the only thing you're waiting on, if it's going to be an extension, is waiting on your survey or your interview process, putting that together to have 4 and 5, which should take you a shorter time. I want you to understand 4 and 5 should not take you long to write, because all you're doing is just providing what the research has given you from your survey or from your interview. That's all you're doing, is compiling that, write it up, and getting it back and forth. So what usually takes long is 1, 2, and 3. So I want you to understand, yes, it's challenging. That's why only 3% of the United States or the world has a doctorate. It's not supposed to be easy, because you're the best of the best, the elite of the elite. Because in your field of study, you are an expert of it. That's the thing I want y'all to understand. All this studying puts you above all the rest. And you got to use that to motivate you. If it was so easy, then the whole world would have it. That's why you selected this. That's why they believe in you. Somebody signed off to say, you are able to do this. They believe that you can finish the process. That's how you got accepted in your graduate study. That's how you got accepted into this doctoral program, because somebody's seen your work and believe that you're capable to finish the race. And I want you to know that you can, but don't get frustrated. Well, take that back. You will get frustrated, but don't let it get to the place where you disconnect, you cut off, and you stop. You come too far. You're almost there. If you have to take a break, listen, to gather yourself, take it, and take it as often as you need. But take it in the thoughts that you're going to re-engage as quickly as possible. You're not taking a break to give up. You're taking a break to readjust yourself so you can get back into the game. All right, this is Coach Jay. I hope I said something to you to help you. And again, thank you all for following me on YouTube. Thank you all for following my pathway with the dissertation. And hopefully I'm saying something to you today that's going to encourage you and help you to move forward to your next segment in this program. Hey, listen, let's enjoy each other as we get through it. And if you have any questions or comments or something you would like me to talk more on, I'll be more than happy to. Just leave it in the comment section, or or do whatever measure you are here to leave your note, do it. And I'm there to talk to you. Take care of yourself.